Yo, y'all already know what time it is. It's your boy Testify.
And I'm Nspyre.
Man, we want to thank y'all for tuning in to another episode of Aggra-Culture.
Listen, make sure you guys take the time to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you know when we've uploaded our next episode. We really appreciate it.
Yo. So this is, we still in the introductory season of it, but it's time to get hot and heavy. Like, we was just warming up on that first episode, you feel me? But I think it's time to get... you get yourself cold to drink, because it's about to get hot up in here. Let me tell you. So, like we talked about in the first episode, you know, we're pretty much focusing this whole entire show off of, like, just what our culture is. Like, identifying what the culture is, trying to figure out what things in the culture are good, what things need to be removed, and just where we're going as a collective, moving forward as a culture. And so the reason why I say it's getting hot and heavy this time is because the topic today is slave culture. I want to talk about what slavery means to our culture as a whole. Like what did that time period of our people being enslaved, what did that do, or what is the imprint that's left on us as a culture today? Like, what is the residue of slavery on the people that are still living and breathing here in America today? What do you think about that?
I mean, I definitely think that it's present. It's something that we experience, and a lot of people experience it, unconsciously. Mm-hmm. They're not aware that they're even experiencing it, but you can see it very much present in a lot of the ways that we handle things, a lot of the ways that we go about even just going after a goal or a dream or something like that. Like, the residue is there. So okay. A lot of times we'll talk ourselves out of doing something, or we won't even show up for something because you automatically think you're not worthy, or that other people, have something that you don't have, some advantage. And a lot of times there are some advantages that are there that like, there's no point in me even going.
So you think that one of the things that slavery has left here with us is this feeling of like being second class, not necessarily being equal to our counterparts.
Yeah. And I think that it's definitely has its effect on us, especially in the workplace, as well as, even in school. You can run into some of that. I know for me specifically, I've dealt with it in the workplace where, like, for a specific job, you're the most equipped for it. You know that you're the go-to for certain things, for most things. Right. And time after time, you experience situations where, let's say, an opportunity for a promotion arises, and you're up against, other people. Right. And like the company that this actually happened at, they were only going to promote from within because it was a very small group of us. Right. So, several different occasions, you experience where you're being told that you're the best. You're being told that you're great. They're
so when it's time for that,
you are.
So when it's time for that promotion, you automatically think,
it's a shoe in. Right. It's mine. fine.
If I'm being told that I'm the best.
The natural order.
Right,
like
exactly.
I'm able to keep everything like it needs to be. I'm able to, make sure things are on point and things are operating and running smoothly. And instead of getting a promotion, someone else, my white counterpart gets the promotion.
Yeah. Let's be transparent about it.
And then I'm asked to then train that person to do that job in the promoted,
Okay.
the jobs that they're promoted to. I'm asked to train them and kind of show them the ropes.
Okay, I got you.
It's what? Like train them? Are you kidding me? Like I literally had it to where then they would I guess maybe I would let them know that I'm aware of what was going on.
Okay.
And I found myself in a position where job titles or positions were created specifically for me.
But those titles.
But it was kind of just to
pacify
me for the time being or whatever.
Because it doesn't come with the benefits.
It doesn't come up with the benefits.
Nor the pay.
Yeah.
Of the original title or the actual promotion that you were looking for originally.
Exactly. And I was never given a valid or any reason at all as to why.
Okay. So in that situation like that, and lots of us have experienced that, those are things that other people are doing to us.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to specifically focus on what we should be doing as a people and what I consider slave culture for us. Like let me bring up these two topics specifically right now. A lot of y'all have watched the news, you're into sports, all of that. So you may be familiar with Brian Flores, the former head football coach of the Miami Dolphins, who was fired and subsequently he ended up suing the NFL and the Miami Dolphins, for wrongful termination. And then within that suit, he's talking about, things that he was asked to do that he doesn't think that his white counterparts would be asked to do, such as losing games and things of that nature. And also, I want to talk about Colin Kaepernick is back in the news because he's also apparently trying to get back on the football field in the NFL. And so the reason why I want to bring these things up is because these are some of the most prominent instances of black people kind of asking their white counterparts to
free them.
Yes. Like,
you think they're operating in slave mentality?
Well, I don't want to say that. I want to talk about it. I want us as a group
okay.
to kind of decide, is that slave culture? Because to me, and y'all correct me if I'm wrong. I want y'all to hop in the comments, let me know how y'all feel about it. Because really, this is a learning situation. I'm not saying I got all the answers. Nobody does. I want to learn. I want your point of view. So let's just talk about it. To me, if somebody takes something from me, I don't think that it's logical for me to then turn around and expect for the person that took whatever it is that they took from me to then do something to put us on a level playing field. I don't expect for you to rob me and then, because
give it back.
Yeah, give it back. Because what was the point of you taking it in the first place?
From it.
Right, you're benefiting from it. So why would you then turn around and give it back to me?
Right.
And so, for me, when we're having these conversations, or we're out marching and we're protesting and we're doing all of this, no justice, no peace, equality, this, that, and the third. I just don't buy into that mentality because I'm just trying to get help me to make sense of it.
Yeah, I get what you're saying, because like, it's definitely something that's become, more common here lately with a lot of the, nationally publicized injustices that have occurred as of late. And so, a lot of us as a community, as a collective, and individually have tried to figure out, where do we fall, on, like, how do we get involved? How do we do something? How do we, affect change? And so history shows us that, our forefathers and ancestors marched. They, they boycotted. They, they did these things that, were painted in our history books, the little bit that they did show us and teach us, that's the noble thing to do. Okay. That's the, that's the thing to do. You lobby against it, you stand against it, you lock arms, and you stand outside and sing "We Shall Overcome," and things are gonna happen.
And ultimately, nothing much ever really happens. Because this is the thing. For me, the reason why it doesn't make sense to me is because as I look into the record books, as I look into history, and I see these images, I see it's almost like deja vu. When I'm looking at the news right now, when something happens in America, and the black leaders are standing up, and there's marching, there's burning down of buildings, there's, protesting outside of police stations, all of that kind of stuff going on. And it's the same exact look as what I see in the history back in the 50s, 60s, 70s. And it's like, so what are we really doing?
And how long are we going
to keep doing the same thing, but expecting some different kind of results? At what point do we decide that something else has to be the answer? And so the question then becomes, well, what is the answer? So my problem more than anything is that after the marching and all of that stuff is done, we go right back to the same old cycle. We go back to our jobs.
Like, after the march is over, you're back to your regularly scheduled programming.
Right. Okay, and then even bigger than that. For me, the slave culture is, let's say you do something to me that doesn't make me feel good. You offend me, hurt my feelings, take something from me, whatever the case is, betray me, and I'm ready to knock your head off. I will cuss you out. I will go to the edge of the earth and back to make my point and to stand up to you, my black, brown brother, sister, whatever the case may be. And then those same people will go into a workplace, go into a store, go wherever, and have the craziest experience with a white person, and they tuck their tail and run. They drop their head in shame, won't say a word. When we're standing outside with
They turn
the other cheek. When we're standing out on the scene of the George Floyd situations and other moments like that, we got our smartphones out, but we don't do anything.
Right.
Now, but at the same time, I know that if it was if that same situation was going on, and the person that was on the neck of George Floyd had been another black man, somebody would have probably done something to him. Somebody would have risked their life even to make sure that, of course, we got young and old black people out here each and every day crashing out over dumb stuff. If that was your partner, if that's your homie, and some other dude got his knee on his neck, yeah, you gonna risk. Know it. They'll risk their life because they wouldn't want somebody to go back to the hood and say, "Oh,
You just
Blase had they
supposed to be
need.
your boy.
Yeah, that's supposed to be your boy. Y'all
Yeah.
stood there, y'all was scared, and y'all watched little Tony lose his life.
Mm.
But yet, in that situation, I just don't understand. Because like we really ready to kill each other, ready to take from each other, ready to do whatever, but then when it's the other way around, all of that courage, all of that boldness is lost. And I can only believe that that's the residue of slavery. It's the images of our ancestors hanging from trees. It's the movies that we've watched with bullwhips going across their backs.
Where you ultimately know that, like, we all know how it ends.
Exactly.
And I think that's more daunting than anything. It's like,
no
matter how much you're fighting, and I think maybe that's the message that they want us to subscribe to.
Mm-hmm.
No matter how much you try to fight, no matter how much you kick back, no matter how much you march or do whatever, we're going to have the last say. We're going to have the last laugh. Y'all going to get back to what we tell y'all to do. Okay,
so you say you feel like the message is no matter how much we fight, they get the final say so. I'm gonna take it a step further because I want you to close your eyes and visualize. I want all of y'all out there to close your eyes and visualize this. You've seen the slave movies. You've seen the civil rights movies, where wrong was done to a black man or woman, killed, raped,
or
kidnapped, whatever the case may be.
Because that Emmett Till, that took me.
Absolutely. That's exactly what was going through my mind at this moment.
Baby, listen, that threw me, shook it.
But you want me to tell you what's even more discouraging than the thought of at the end, they have the final say so, is that at the end of each one of those moments, I always saw the image of a crowd of black people standing there watching. Yeah. When does that stop? When do we get the courage to say, no longer will we just be bystanders watching the injustice take place? And then after the killing has happened, after the raping has happened, after the house gets burned down, after the person's been railroaded and put in jail for 20 or 30 years, then we march. And by then, it's too late.
And the marching is doing nothing.
It's no more than a retail holiday. And, it's no more than purchasing shirts, purchasing signs.
Yeah.
At some point, something's got to give. We got to go above and beyond that. So,
history would tell us, if you were a people that are disenfranchised, that are, fed up with your current situation.
Right.
Generally what happens is the very way this country was started, right?
Okay. I'm following you.
Like, we were where? Or they were where?
Exactly.
Where? In Britain, right?
Right.
Over there. Didn't like the taxes, didn't like what was going on.
Oh, you getting real deep.
Let's go and start our own something.
Mm-hmm.
And, they had agreements or whatever. And
now, you almost right. Because they set out.
I know I'm right. I just watched Hamilton.
Well, they set out on they went looking for new land on behalf of Great Britain.
Right.
It's just that once they got there,
right,
and they realized, like, yo, we did all of this work.
We're gonna do our own thing.
What do we look like paying y'all taxes?
Well, I'm saying they had an agreement.
Right.
They were paying, but then they felt like it was too much.
After a while, you like,
out of hand.
Come on, man. You know what they felt like? Get your knee off my neck.
Right.
That's what they felt like.
Right.
Let me breathe.
You know what? We're not paying y'all no more.
Absolutely.
And so what happened? War happened.
Yep, that's exactly what happens.
An uprising.
When people get fed up.
Uproar. They didn't march.
Let's just kind of get back. to the original topic. Because like this is one of them type of topics that, it's easy to get hyper emotional.
Right.
I'm
just talking about what history.
But
what happened in history.
But
that's what happened.
But history is what causes us to get hyper emotional when you start thinking about
some emotions.
Right.
But what I'm saying is the history of,
the
wanting change.
Right.
And actually seeing change. Because when they wanted change, they did something.
Right.
And the change happened. Right. I think we got to do more teaching about the actual triumphs. Like the actual changes that did happen.
Mm-hmm.
The work that was done that did invoke change. Because we need to be seen victorious, right?
Okay.
Because we see a lot of this is what they did to us. We see a lot of the.
But this is the thing. Even with the stuff that, even with the victories, in comparison to the injustice, they seem like such minuscule victories. I mean,
but
and let's think about systematic oppression too. Like some of the quote unquote victories are policy that was put in place to give the illusion of change.
See, I just at this point I'm kind of like throw the whole thing away.
That's it.
Because
it's really the only way.
Telling me that something was written with me and anybody that looks like me not even considered a human being.
Oh, you mean like the Constitution?
Right. Like if that was written, that it wasn't for me.
Right.
That wasn't. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely, I'm in agreement.
It wasn't for me, right? Because I wasn't even considered a whole person.
But yet, if you say anything contrary to it, then you're not a patriot. You're somehow against the country. But how do you peg me as against the country when the country has never been for me from the jump?
Something to think about.
It's absolutely something to think about. But
things that make you go, And see, like, this is all I know. This is America is all I know. I was born in America.
Mm-hmm.
As far as I know and can remember, like, the relatives that I have that I was able to meet were here.
Right.
And so the whole, go back to wherever you came, like, come on. I'm from here. I'm from here. I was born here.
Go back to where you came from. Go back to Union Springs.
Right. Right here on U.S. soil.
Right.
So, like, I would like to be as proud and patriotic as our counterparts can be.
Right. Because,
they were included in the inception.
Right.
So it's kind of, we kind of redheaded stepchildren.
Wow.
For lack of a better term.
I guess so. So to kind of cap it all off, I mean, what do we do? What do we do about this slave culture, this slave mentality that's been ingrained in our people over all of these years?
Because they like, get past it, get over it. Oh my God, get over it. But how?
But you know what?
How you tell the people that still are affected,
right, by
what happened to get over it when you don't tell the other groups of people that have had similar travesties occur?
How do you get over what's still going on?
Yeah, how do you get over what's still there?
Yeah, because
what's still present. I should not have to explain certain things to my babies.
Right.
Like
right.
I shouldn't have to.
I shouldn't have to
prepare
you
them.
for getting pulled over. I shouldn't have to prepare you for.
I have counterparts that wake up, go to sleep, wake up every day with not a thought about an encounter with a police or any type of figure like that.
Right.
Without a thought. But I literally, every time cop car goes by. I'm not a criminal. I've never been to jail. Never had anything other than a speeding ticket.
But you know you driving while black.
Yeah, and I'm shaking.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I shouldn't have to live like that. My children shouldn't have to experience that. And that's what I'm talking about. Don't tell me to get over something when I experience it constantly.
Right.
Just because I look like this. Just because I was born like this.
Right.
I have no control over my skin color. I have control over my family history.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But that's a very real thing. It's very real.
Mm.
It's very real. And I'm sick of it. I'm really.
Kind of hard to get over slave culture when it seems like slavery is still alive and well. You know, once again, I wish we had more time to talk about it.
Yeah, I'm done talking about this.
Yeah, exactly. I see Nspyre starting to get a little bit emotional about it, so we're gonna wrap it up, man.
Ooh.
You know, y'all be careful with this topic.
Like that couldn't even fathom. Just, but anyway, thank y'all for tuning in. Y'all pray my strength.
I'm your boy Testify.
I'm Nspyre. It's been real. Like, subscribe, follow, hit that notification bell so you can know when we upload our next one. We'll catch you on the next one.